We are very fortunate today to have back-to-back Agent of the Year for Team Midwest, Mr. Ryan Danicus. Good morning, Ryan.
Thanks, man.
Can we do a clap, or is there a sound effects clap
Do you have
button
a
there?
recorded clap on there? A sound effect? We got to have a sound effect. Good to see you this morning, boy. Thank you for taking the time to come in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
You bet. This time of year, AEP, annual election period, I know we're busy as heck. So for you to, I know you were working dark to dark yesterday. So for you to come in today and share time with us, we appreciate it very much.
No problem.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background, a little bit about your history, and not just with ASB, but maybe a little before that?
So been in the customer service industry basically for about 17 years now. Basically done about everything you can imagine in the sales industry. Sold tools and chemicals, cell phones, door-to-door window and vacuum cleaner sales. Worked at Best Buy, electronic stores, and then decided to join the insurance industry, and it's been amazing.
What do you think? And like I said, again, excuse me, the only person in Team Midwest history to be Agent of the Year back to back. What do you think is what turned the ticket? We'll say. Hey, speaking of ticket, if you have a question or you want to jump in and talk to us, a Honda Lincoln hotline 402-464-5685. 402-464-5685. Ryan, what do you think? What's the difference at American Senior Benefits? What's made you successful here?
There's been a couple things. It's the training staff, the support that you have. And I think so. I've actually found on one of my Facebook Medicare groups the other day that there's something odd about there, what veteran agents say to new agents. And I kind of adopted this, I guess, a long time ago. It says like consistency plus persistence plus humility to grow and learn, also known as coachability, and have it done bigger and longer than you. Longer doesn't always mean better. If the first one isn't there, equals success. Mm-hmm. I love that saying.
Yep.
It's hard work, dedication, and just doing what you're supposed to do when nobody else is looking.
Consistency, and that persistence prevails when all else fails.
Absolutely.
Do you think you would have been as successful? I know you would have been successful wherever.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with you now about 3.5 years. I know that. Do you think you would have been as successful somewhere else as with American Senior Benefits?
I don't. Like it kind of goes back to the family mentality of, us Lincoln guys, we all think of each other as families. We like to have a good time. Like I said, the training programs, the availability to all the carriers that we do have is amazing. Just the growth and things that we've seen in the last 3.5 years since you've been here, Todd, and the 5 years that I've been here, it's been amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting. So the people know 3.5 years ago, we had 7 agents, including myself. Just at Lincoln now we're up over 20. We've got 8 in Kearney. So it's been an exciting growth. Let me ask you this. You and I have known each other, like I said, a long time. We're friends now, as well as working together. Can you share a little bit? Everybody has a why,
Yeah.
And you've heard me mention him a million times. Greatest sales trainer, I think, is Tom Hopkins. And he says the people that are most successful in this industry, or in sales, I should say, have something to prove to someone.
Yeah.
And Tom always shared a horrible day that he had. You just a month ago shared a horrible day with me that I was having kind of a down day that day. I suddenly felt 1,000% better. Would you be kind enough to share that with us?
Yeah.
Misery gets you happy.
So basically how I got into this business is I was working a corporate job, basically an account manager for Southeast Nebraska for a local tool company here in town. The regional sales manager decided to say, "Hey, Ryan, why don't you meet me at the local coffee shop here in Lincoln? I want to talk to you about a couple things." So I'm like, okay, perfect. This is kind of odd, but I'm okay. Well, sounds good. Maybe I'll get a promotion or something like that, or a raise.
Right.
I got there, and when I pulled up, I walked to the coffee shop, and I noticed him and another guy sitting there that I had never seen before. I was like, huh, what's this all about? So I walked in there, sat down, and they said, "Well, Ryan, we're going to have to let you go. We need your truck, your keys to your truck, your laptop, and your cell phone, and we will pay for an Uber to get back home." I'm like, oh yeah, that
was generous, though.
That was very nice.
Super generous of him, right?
Hopefully he's got the Uber XL.
Yeah. Nope, it was like a little Pinto or something like that. So I got home. Didn't even know how to call my wife Tasha about it. Got home, Didn't even tell her. I walked in the door and she was surprised as heck. She was doing in-home daycare at the moment, and started breaking down. Told her about what happened. I thought this was the gig that I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. Great benefits, good salary, so on and so forth. And not even an hour later, my wife and I were renting a house. My landlord decided to come to the door, knock on our door, and evict us at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
And not to add that, but then like 2 hours later, maybe, my wife found out that she lost 2 daycare kids at the same time. So we had the triple whammy all in one time.
Things happen in threes.
It does.
Things happen.
Did you just like turn the phones off, lock the door, and hope nothing else happened? I think there was some
whiskey involved in that night, Todd.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Holy cow.
Yeah, but like we all say, God has a reason for everything. And if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
So,
yep.
Right.
Absolutely, man.
And that the truth, it's amazing. What man intends for evil, God intends for good. And it works out so many times. But boy, at the time, that was a gut punch, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Or
I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. That was a mess.
How did you happen on to American Senior Benefits?
So it's kind of funny. I was working. My brother-in-law worked a window company here in town. He was the sales manager for them, and they were actually looking for somebody to generate leads at the local county fair. And I was like, well, I'm not doing anything right now. I just got I need something to do. So yeah, let's go do it. So I went down at the county fair, basically at their booth, trying to generate some window leads. And a guy that I actually trained selling vacuum cleaners 10 years ago approached me and said, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm here.
Obviously showing windows.
Yep. Kind of a common sense question.
Yeah.
Here's your sign. And he kind of told me about the opportunity that American Senior Benefits. And I was skeptical at first because I had never heard of them and didn't know anything about it. I had talked about getting into insurance probably 10 years prior to that with Aflac. And I was like, you know what do I have to lose? I'm not doing anything.
Yep.
So I jumped in it with 2 feet. The gentleman here that was last week with Tyler Shockey, him and I interviewed up at the Cracker Barrel up in North Lincoln. And it's been history from there. It's been amazing.
So nobody's asked for your keys to your car or your cell phone in this job?
Not yet.
Good.
So that's a good thing. Yeah.
We've said this before. It's funny. People think, well, I've got benefits. I've got security at my job. I've got just another example of how that really does not exist, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. If you don't have yourself to rely on, you have no one to rely on.
Correct.
Yeah. You can't depend on someone else to make your living. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You'd mentioned your wife, Tasha, also good friends of ours. How big a role do significant others play in this?
Huge. Tosh has been probably my biggest fan, supporter. We talk about it all the time about, that first year in the business is she asked me multiple times, Ryan, is this the right thing for you? Is this the right thing for you? And I said, yeah, babe, just give me some time. Give me a chance. And it's been amazing. We've really turned the corner in the last 4 or 5 years. We're building our first house in Bennett, Nebraska. First house we've ever owned. Super excited for that. I have 2 daughters at home. Excited for that too. It's been amazing.
That's cool. It's been a lot of fun working with you, training with you, watching your success and your growth. American Senior Benefits really means it when they say putting people back in the people business, don't they, Jay?
Absolutely. Ryan, now we talked about the job. Tell us what it's like going on convention trips. Tell us what it's like when you get a week of a paid trip that you get to take for your wife.
Yeah, it's been amazing. So Tosh and I have been into some places that we've never thought we'd ever go. Our first convention trip was with Todd and Joyce to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And it was one of the most beautiful places. And you never think Idaho is beautiful, but when you're up in that panhandle, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. We've been down to Marco Island, Florida. That one was last time with you, Jay. That was absolutely beautiful. The first one you were actually on. Deep sea fishing. That was a lot of fun. Watching Todd catch that tarpon and reeling that darn thing in for 45 minutes and asked him if he wanted to reel a shark in afterwards. And he said, nope, I'm good.
I couldn't even lift my beverage to my mouth at that point.
And Tasha's absolutely loved the trips. She's always told me, she's like, Ryan, I'm not going to miss one. They're amazing.
Yep.
So they're awesome.
That is cool. You were talking about Idaho. I'd never heard of Coeur d'Alene either.
Yeah.
Then we get there and we take a seaplane, which was cool. I'd never flown in a seaplane before. That was a lot. I would recommend that to anyone. That was pretty cool. But we flew. Apparently, we're the only ones in the room that did not hear of it because we flew over Oprah's house. She had a house there. We flew over Wayne Gretzky's house while we were there.
Neat.
Yeah. We saw, and then fly around. We saw a moose. We saw a bear. It's really cool to having the backgrounds that we all have to be able to go to those places.
Yeah, and real quick from the text line, we got the milkman chiming in saying Ryan's my dad's agent, great guy. So we got some listeners that actually have.
Hey, milkman.
Hey, yeah, milkman. Thank you.
There you go.
Cool. Ryan does a fantastic job taking care of his people. That's for sure. That's great, Ryan. Good job.
Now, what did we were talking about spouses? What did we just do a couple nights ago?
So that was amazing. That was the first time we've ever done that. So we actually have about 10 agents. We have 3 agents that are actually in the business right now with us that have already passed their test. And we actually have 7 that are onboarding right now that are in the process of studying and taking their test. And they're one of the biggest roles in this. The spouses are one of the biggest roles in this business. If you don't have a supporting spouse saying that, everything's going to be okay, not asking if you get a sale this week, but how do you do on your 20-point system or whatever it may be, they're going to make or break the agent. We actually took the spouses and the new agents out to a restaurant here in town, basically just had a meet and greet, and it was amazing. It was a lot of fun seeing all those new faces for sure.
Yeah, it was great. All of the managers' spouses shared what it's like to be married to one of us.
Yeah.
For good or bad.
Right on.
Yeah,
There's
For
both.
good or bad.
But it is a team, and that's what I think. I know I've tried to instill at the Team Midwest is the team atmosphere, the family atmosphere. We have a good time together, don't we?
Oh, we have a blast.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. We try to do fun contests, fun things, but the significant others are invited to most of those things. Very supportive group.
Which I was going to say, Todd, where a lot of the places where I worked prior to that, Tasha was never invited to any of that stuff. So it was just the agent, which is sad.
Yeah.
Because then how do you know what the husband's doing or the spouse is doing? You never do.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, as in any sales job, there's more no's than yeses. So it sure is nice to come home to have somebody supportive. And that's what we tried to do was the manager spouses, again, speaking with the new ones, to get them things like, just things to say, things to encourage their agents. So yeah, again, putting people back in the people business, right, Jay?
Absolutely. Now, Ryan, you're a manager, correct, in the Lincoln office with us. You've been doing it for how long, being a manager?
Managing for 3 years now.
What is the number one, for people listening and kind of intrigued about what we do, what is the number one reason that you see people don't make it in this industry? We talk about what it's like to make it. What's the reason they do not make it?
A lot of it has to do with something that Todd and I have talked about for a long time. It's this: the system is the solution. I mean, realistically, we have a system for every aspect of our business, from the telephone calls, from prospecting to, getting into the door, doing the warm up, the whole 9 yards. One thing we can do is we can teach them, we can take the horse to the water, but we can't force them to drink, right? So we can teach that agent how to do exactly everything we do and how we do it, but we can't force them to. We are self-employed. So when we're not watching, we don't know what that agent's doing. We don't know if they're taking off at 2:00 to go play golf or what they're doing. So a lot of it has to do with them also being able to have that self-discipline and motivation to be able to do their job and make the money that they want to make.
Well, you nailed it there. We can train you, we can help you, but you have to do it yourself. But
Correct.
It is their own business, isn't it?
It really is. And that's the nice thing about this is, like you said, you can determine your own hours, right?
Yep.
As long as you follow the system doesn't have an hourly or structure. You can do what you want to do, but follow the system. If you have to miss something, if you have to go see your kid's ball game, great. Make up for lost time, later on in the evening. If you want to go to lunch with your wife, right?
Yeah.
Definitely can be able to do that as well.
Speaking of that, I'm sorry, but I interrupt you. Speaking of that, it was a neat story when I started in this. We had a young lady that we worked with. She had 3 little girls, and she got up every morning, got them on the school bus. She went and ran her appointments. She made sure to be home to get them off the school bus, get them dinner. Her husband came home from work. They had dinner together, and then she went out and ran another appointment or 2. How neat is that you can work your schedule like that, or you got a kid's thing at school you want to see, or whatever. You don't miss that. And we've had people from every single background possible, I think, in this job. We've had healthcare, we've had bartenders, we've had juvenile delinquents. We've had
Got a couple of those out there.
just a
just
few.
about everything.
Just a few.
But again, if you have strong communication skills and a good work ethic, if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, please give our recruiter Joyce Ann a call, 402-413-9846, 402-413-9846, or American Senior Benefits Lincoln on Facebook.